Director Fletcher.
Here.
Director Hunt.
Here.
President Crawley.
Here.
Director Kellogg.
Here.
Vice President Sackett.
Here. Thank you. Approval of the consent calendar. Does anybody have a motion to approve the consent calendar as shown, or is there something?
We approve the consent calendar. Second.
Anybody like have anything pulled off?
No, what I'd like to make a comment on is
Okay.
a positive comment.
What item?
E, 2E, update, yes.
Okay.
Maybe Kevin can take this.
2E,
I've got my dad, pages numbered.
Scroll down.
Is that the 25,000?
that's a $25,000 administration.
I paid iPad page 52.
Thank you.
Yeah, 55, 55, 52, 53. 55.
What was your comment?
Having had a little bit of experience working on those type of situations, is that a natural gas engine?
Yes.
I figured it was. But I'd like to compliment whoever put this together, because it is really well done. You do that, Jim?
Yes, sir.
Well, you said you congratulated. Murphy switch that's on that is really excellent. So the engine is completely protected. All you have to do is run to the plant or wherever you're at down there and start it back up again if you're away overheating. So that is really a well-designed. Murphy switch, for those that may not be acquainted with it, is a safety device for engines. I've seen a lot of engines safe because of that, a lot of engines not safe, particularly on pumps. And undoubtedly, we have 3 or 4 types of them. So excellent. And I would imagine that if I had this Mergap valve for this type of an engine, $25,000 is cheap today. Good deal. That's a little comment I have. Compliment Jim. Thank you. Design. Excellent.
Okay. All in favor? All in favor of approving the consent calendar as presented? Say aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Can we put in our orders for lunch at the general membership meeting?
It's just all the same.
Yeah.
So you just need to prepare a
It's like
check.
the one with the.
Oh, no, I know, I just want to say I'm going to.
Oh,
Yeah, so.
We need to check out the Butte County Special District Association.
Yeah.
And payouts.
We have to give them a check to the Butte County.
Give it to her and she's going to forward it to you.
Is today the last day, Georgia?
I just mailed it off to them.
Is today the last day?
I just gave them to her.
I will be on vacation next week. They need the money unless you want to send it directly to them or
No, I have to put in a check.
Okay.
$30.
30 per person.
Well, it's only 30 days.
I just gave her the
Okay, public participation. Individuals will be given an opportunity to address the board regarding matters not scheduled on the agenda. While the board cannot take action on any matter not on the agenda, comments will be limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Opportunity for the public comment on agenda items will be provided at the time as discussed by the board, with comments limited to 5 minutes per agenda item. Is there anybody from the public here tonight who would like to speak to something other?
Thanks for asking. I'll keep it under 5 minutes. Ward Haverhill for the record. A couple of things. As you know, I am concerned about water conservation. I'm also part of the hosting group for an upcoming workshop about composting and recycling sponsored by the Paradise Grange and the Paradise Garden Club, actually this Sunday afternoon. During registration, several people have asked whether or not it's going to cover anything that has to do with water conservation, like drip irrigation, sprinklers, etc., which I said, not so much, but the feedback was, nobody else around here knows much about it, and I'm tired of paying so much for my water. So I'm going to say a little bit of something. But I'm going to be repeating this series because I'm no longer doing it in Chico State. And when I do, I hope that in the future I'll be a little better informed as to what help people learn when we're talking about compost and recycling conservation.
We're going to be working on that in the Water Conservation Committee. Thank you, Ward. Is there anybody else in the public that has a comment, not on, or has an item that's not on the agenda? No? We will move on. Committee reports and presentations. Board oral reports regarding the representation of commissions and committees. First one is the Michaelia Botanical Garden. Dr. Kellogg.
We had a meeting, and it was successful. We had about 14 people show up, and of the 14, I think 12 was volunteered to be on the advisory committee for the botanical gardens, and we're interested in contributing time and possibly resources. And given the kind of publicity we got out on it, that was very good. 2 of them were members of the Park and Recreation Board, 2 ladies, and others were from the community and so forth. And everybody seemed to be interested and asked good questions. Mike Krink opened the meeting and gave his deal, and he invited me up to talk about the botanical garden, which I did for a while. And then we took questions and answers from the audience, a free give and take with a small group like that. And we got some very positive things out of it. Mike will call another meeting. His schedule, like he told when I was at that night. Being the kind of committee this is, I'm just an advisory to Mike. I have no power to, and actually we don't, as a group, have any power over what they want to do now, other than the minimum of understanding we have. So I was trying to help to get more public support, and it helped because Mike doesn't have the financial from grant or anything. And it's possible that the botanical garden might even get started before the park is. So volunteer help and support. The next meeting will be actually to try to organize volunteer committees. And I thank you for your support.
Thank you, Director Kellogg. Number 2 is view local agency formation. Director Duncan.
Okay, we met on the 10th of July, which is a Wednesday. We met a day earlier because there was something else in the chamber. And we approved the budget on the consent agenda. And then we did 4 approvals of septic, not septic, sewer connections outside of the city limits. And 2 of them have failed, and one was, I think it was on a 25 by 50 lot.
In Chico.
In Chico, in septic system. So they figured it was gonna go pretty soon. And everything, and so we approved all of those. They all have waived their rights to contest an annexation. And we did cut the fee down. I think we charged them $600 now instead of it was a lot more before. Trying to encourage these people that are in the nitrate area to hook up to the sewers, since the sewers are all there. And that was it for that meeting. And then I also on the 13th, I met at the CalAFCO meeting in Sacramento. And has anyone seen AB 240? It's about mutual water districts. And what they're doing is that they're trying to make them as accountable to the public as we are.
Mutual water companies?
Uh-huh.
They're basically nonprofit corporations.
They said mutual is anybody who provides, I read the AB 240, and they said a mutual water company is anybody who provides water to anybody in California.
Treated water.
So it could be Cal water, or Delora. But then anyway, they have to be accountable to their ratepayers. If this passes, they'll have to be accountable to the ratepayers, just like we are. And they'll also have to do everything in public. If AB 240 passes.
You're going to get out of water business if it passes.
And let's see, and then we're having our annual convention in Squaw Valley at the end of August. Oh, and LAFCO has canceled their August meeting due to lack of commitment activities.
That's it. Thank you, Director Dunning. The third one is Water Conservation Committee. Director Squirrel and Flesher are in there. Director Flesher is the chairperson.
Well, we had our second meeting of the committee on July 9th. As with in the first meeting, we did a lot of brainstorming again. I think we covered a lot of ground. We had one of the first meeting and the second meeting about 24, 5, 6 different ideas and a true brainstorming session of how we can get this conservation across. And what Jim is working as the clerk and the secretary of the group offered to do, he's going to categorize them in groups so that we can meet next time we meet, which is a lot of 13 and utilize the ones that we want and not utilize. So take us much less time. We appreciate you doing that, Jim. One of the things we did discuss was the statement and some of the comments that we were hoping to have on it, along with the public relations group. And one of the things is getting people aware of their own irrigation systems and work related to it, just spending on public comments. And get people to watch the clock if they have a clock type irrigation system. And Lauren came up with a real clincher, we thought, as a committee. If your clock is right, you will water at night. Is that right, Lauren? That kind of set the mood for things. Those of you, we have a regular committee meeting going on here right now. Is that about right? Okay. Yeah, well, I made step. You're on that. Anybody else that was there, would they like to make a comment? I thought it was very productive, and we're hoping to have some type of an educational event before we get into the rainy season.
Thank you very much, Director Flesher. Okay, General Manager's report we're going to postpone until George gets here. He is tied up until 7:30, so we will do the legal report. Mr. Cooper, please.
Unless there's something, a question the board would like to ask me, my report will be handled in closed session later.
Is there anything the board would like to ask him?
Do we have a copy of the bill? Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go on to old business, PID rules and regulations, chapter 2, directors and officers. And I think this is the one that I postponed. Kevin, if you can bring that up on the screen for us. This was some wording that we made some proposed changes to. If everybody is okay with it, I would say we should just make a motion to approve it. Unless somebody has something they wanted to change.
Yeah, I did that. There was one place where it says that only the president can call a special meeting.
Yeah, I saw that also.
And that isn't what we've done in the past. If 3 directors
It's like
want
on
a
the
special,
second page of it.
yeah, if 3 directors want a special meeting, then it can be done. That,
Yeah, there's actually, Georgiana's going to pass out an email here. I had suggested a change to, is this in this? This is section 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
This
that,
is agenda item 8D.
so what I'm passing out is related to your comment, Larry, but that's in the policy that was later on the agenda.
So this is a amendment to it, but we'll discuss it later.
Yes, my email proposes amendments to the chapter 4 of the policy.
That's not part of 7A.
No,
That's in item D in new business, right?
yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you brought it up in the wrong section.
Oh, I did, okay.
I couldn't find it here as we were going through it.
So,
Where is the one that we're doing now?
Dustin, correctly, we could not vote on old business 7A right now until we make that amendment.
No, I'm sure we
No.
can.
We can't.
Okay.
It's a separate item.
And then we'll just amend it down in.
Yeah. We can discuss it in 8.
Okay, so do I have a motion to
questions about this? We're in two, we have never make sure we're going through this.
Yes, we're
Two.
in section 2.
Two, I have comments on several things. You go ahead and make a motion and I'd like to comment on the comments.
I move approval to adopt the changes to chapter 2.19 through 2.22 of the policy manual as presented.
Second.
I don't know.
I will second. And Mary, discussion? Is there anybody from the public that has had a chance to read this that would like to discuss it before the board debates it? No? All good? Okay.
I'll just call for the question, I don't have anything else.
Okay. Is there anybody else on the board that would like to discuss this? We good?
Director Keller moved to approve the amendments.
Yes?
Did
Right.
anyone second that?
I did.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, all in favor as the amendments as presented? All in favor, say aye.
I,
Passes 5-0. All,
One question, adding the botanical garden to ad hoc / other committees, 2.22. I think that was.
so we forgot,
that was one, it would have been in Bill's motion.
yeah, we all okay with that?
Yeah, that was.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, okay. All in favor of approving the, can you go back to page 88 or where we started at? Let's see. To adopt the changes to 2.19 through 2.22 of the policy manual as amended. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you, gentlemen.
Wasn't a smooth dance, but we got.
You're tripping a little bit there. Okay, item number 8A, new business. Customer appeal from Jerry Metcalf, review, and George, maybe we should hold off from George, or do you know the specifics on this, Kevin?
Let's hold on.
Okay.
You should be here.
So I'm going to skip item 8A, and same thing with item 8B, I'm going to skip. Item 8C, I'm going to skip until George is here.
This is a good one to go to anyhow. The next PID goes.
It looks to me like we need to take a 10-minute break and make a motion.
Well, we can go down to D. Do we need?
Let's do E. That's a no-brainer. You do it every
Okay,
year.
let's go to E. I like that. I was going to say, it looks like George has got a place in there. So, item 8E, new business, transmittal of delinquent water charges to Butte County. Consider adopting board resolution number 2013-06, transmitting delinquent water charges to the Butte County Auditor Controller as amended in the
Are we on E or D?
email.
Are we going to D or E?
E,
Okay.
Page 112.
as we have seen in the amended total, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, is at 14,469, and then went up to 14,529 and change.
Correct.
Okay, good. Do I have a motion on that?
I'll move to.
It's a resolution, you gotta read this.
I move to adopt resolution number 2013-06.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in, is there
Now, my
anybody?
discussion.
Okay, yes.
Why don't we put their names on these? So some places put their names on it, so these people feel bad.
Because we're not attaching to the name, we're attaching to the parcel. So that's why.
Well, at some places put the names so that
It's like a scarlet letter.
they, yeah,
We just don't do that.
we don't do that. We're nice, we're nice.
Like I tell our customers when they come in and complain, we're not here to ruin people's lives. That's what I tell them.
We're here to give you good water.
That's right. We're here to run a business.
I just wanted it for the record. Why we do.
Has nothing to do with the Privacy Act, it's just that we're being nice.
We're just being nice at the end.
Yeah, that there is no privacy act when it comes to ownership name.
No surprise in me that how some of it was tiny, it was just, don't get handled $23, $25.
Yeah, exactly. Is there anybody from the public that would like to?
A lot of times these get
Comment
cleaned
on
up
that?
before they actually go. A lot of these get cleaned up before they actually get attached to the property tax. But we have to get them in early enough so that they can do their
Any other discussion? Directors, no? All in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call vote, excuse me, roll call vote on that.
Director Fletcher?
Yes.
Director Hunt?
Yes.
Director Kellogg?
Yes.
Director Duncan?
Yes.
President Corlett?
Yes. Passes 5-0.
I can handle,
F?
F,
Okay. We'll go to item 8A, new business, or 8F, excuse me, new business.
So this is a document that is created for the transfer of the retirement plan from ICMA to Securities America, who uses FPJ funds for their retirement accounts. Basically what they did was, we have two retirement accounts. We have a 457 and we have a 401A. They took the document that was created for the 457 that the board adopted with ICMA and just basically transferred it over. So there was no change to that document. They couldn't do that with the 401A. They had to come up with their own document and go through it. So that's why you guys are seeing it today. So this is basically their direction on how the 401A will be handled. Just to remind the board upon what the 401A is there for, is that each employee gets 9% in their retirement account with no match, no nothing, into the 457. If the employee decides to match or to contribute up to 3% of their own income, then the district will match that up to that 3%. When the employee takes their money and puts it into the retirement account, that money goes into the 457. The district's match portion goes into the 401A. With that 401A, there are certain criteria established with that, which is a vesting criteria. So every year, that employee is vested 20% into that match portion that we have put aside for them. After 5 years of service, then they are 100% vested to that portion, that match portion. So 100% of it is theirs and it continues on throughout. So that's what this vehicle that you're going to adopt is doing, is basically directing FPJ Fund Choice on how that money should be handled if circumstances happen, or how it's handled on a monthly basis. Do you want to handle that?
George and Sheila Lawton, who's the IBEW representative on behalf of the recognized employees. Her and George have been engaging in a back and forth email over the last month or so about this issue. And the latest email from Sheila, George asked me to respond because he's traveling today. So I called Sheila this morning. What she wanted to convey to the board was there's a lot of employee confusion. There's some concern about this, is the board getting rid of its fiduciary obligation, which is not true, as I explained. There's also some trepidation about this 30-day blackout period, up to 30 days where no transactions can be conducted so that the funds can be transferred from the investment houses. So her request was that the board delay considering this to the August meeting. And, I made no promises. I did try to explain to her that really the decision has already been made, and it was made a number of months ago. I also reminded her that the employees had had a number of opportunities in the last year or so to not only sit in on presentations from a number of potential providers, but also had training sessions from these providers. So the short answer is there's still some confusion. I do have an email from her. I can circulate a copy of it if you'd like to read it. Basically, the operative paragraph is, I'll read it. From what I've gathered today, the main sticking point for our members is a lack of transparency in the entire process. I think if that can be addressed, along with some clarification with regards to the blackout window and further explanation on the fiduciary responsibility, it might go a long way. The blackout window is, as I said, 30 days. It's up to 30 days. In practice, and Kevin can speak to this, what the provider is telling us, it's more like 4 days. 4 days
described is that plus fund, the sticking point of that plus fund, which we've all handled internally with each provider, is that if you are inside the plus fund, you will be with ICMA for up to, it's going to be kind of the end of May is when those funds will be released. So an employee has up to July 29th to make a choice. Do I want to stay in the plus fund, which means that money is going to be locked into that plus fund for the remainder of that year, or do I want to take it out of that plus fund and then now it will be transferred over to FTJ Fund Choice, and then I have an opportunity to make whatever decision I want. This has been explained to every single one of our employees and every participant of the plan. We also have sent out notices to every one of the employees dated July 27th, stating all of the of what's going to be happening. And this is a requirement. This is a requirement that we're having. In that
July 27th?
we sent it out June 27th.
June 27th, you said July.
So-
I was like, what are you doing?
You set it out 2 weeks from now?
Yeah, June 27th.
Okay.
And it states that the blackout period will begin on July 29th. It says this may last up to 30 days. It's to allow us some flexibility, so we're not locking ourselves in. If something happens where we're having to reconcile something, this, or something happens, we have some time to do it. But in all likelihood, it's going to happen within approximately 4 days. It's liquidating all of the funds into cash, taking those funds over to FPJ Fund Choice, and then distributing those funds into each person's account based on the direction that they've given. Rick Moots, the investment advisor, which Rick has sat down with every employee and discussed where they want to go. They've signed up with all their accounts, and so there's specific direction that's been given based on that. I think that from my perspective, we've been as transparent as we possibly can. We're not going to tell every employee about the administration of how we're trying to get this thing transferred over. I think that would be, I don't think that's a reasonable expectation.
Which is essentially what her email is asking.
That's correct. I think that we've been very open to every employee about choosing, selecting, and about the process that will take place. And I think that we've empowered every employee to make the best decision for themselves. Even going further to say that there are certain investment options that if you wanted to take it out of the plus fund, you couldn't put it in ICMA's certain funds. We've explained that to them also, that there's certain funds that you cannot transfer your money out of the plus fund if that's where you wanted to take that money, put it into another account, and then distribute it out. So I think that we've done a good job of trying to inform all of our employees. We are always open to questions from employees, and we'll answer every question that comes our way. But I don't think it's necessary to delay action at this point from the transfer. Right now, all it is an administrative type of thing. We're trying to administer this transfer the best way that we possibly can. And I think we've done our due diligence.
I have one question, Kevin. This is someplace where I don't have much knowledge, but I was wondering on the trustees, and you have George and yourself, and I thought the board was the trustees for employees' retirement funds.
The district is the trustee, but there has to be specific members that are the quote unquote trustees of the funds, meaning they're making decisions on how things are handled kind of administratively. I don't think
Employees have a say on where the money goes.
there's certain things that we don't have a say on how the money goes, but if an employee, say, wants to take an emergency withdrawal, there's certain administrative things that we have to do. If an employee wants to take a loan, there's certain administrative things that we have to do, and there has to be somebody that is responsible for signing those documents and for making sure that the administrative things handle. But do I have a say on how someone invests their money? Absolutely not. Never do I have that. But there is certain administrative things that we, as members of the district, have to make. I think that as us as trusted individuals of the district, I think that that's probably the most efficient way to handle it.
I was looking at investing for employer contributions.
Yes.
page 122, and we check number 3,
Yeah,
5-year graded, 1 year 20, 2 years 40, 3 years 60, 4 years 80, 5 years 100%. Can you explain to me what that means?
that means that because the money that we're setting aside into this account is the money that the district has put in there, it means that the employee doesn't get that just right off the top. It means that we're looking for some service to, for them to earn that money over the time period. And this is actually a negotiated step earning parcel of this. So let's say we put $1,000 in there for them. The first year they've earned 200, the next year they have 400, the next year they have 600, the next year they have 8, and so on until 5 years. Then they have that full $1,000 that they can then take with them and when they retire.
Well, when they have 5 years of service, then everything that goes in the account is 100%.
Correct.
Oh, it's not laddered out. The second year's donation doesn't have a 5-year lifespan,
Nope.
the third year's
The total is
donation.
5.
So 5 years, they're 100% vested.
That's correct.
What happens to the money if they leave it 2 years?
It's forfeited, and it's, and then in here in this document, that's another thing of the administration of this document. It says what we as a district can do with that money. And so you can offset contributions, or you can pay fundings, or you can pay expenses inside of there.
Oh,
You know, I realize all the work you've done to explain this to the employees, and I'm glad you have. But looking through this thing, it is fine print, and I'm going, I was just looking for where the X's were. But, anyway, I just going, I can understand their fears or worries, and I don't know how to correct them other than putting them all in one room and explaining it to in layman's language.
Most of
Instead of
it-
asking and having them ask you questions.
Most of the documentation in here is for the administration of the plan.
Right.
The nuts and bolts, like the 5-year vesting and all that, is a negotiated item that they should be very well aware of through their union, for the union negotiating those items for them.
I did some research on this myself, in fact, I met with Kevin, and I did some other look at it because of the fact that I didn't completely understand the first time doing this. And the 457, the 9% goes into that. And if they're only here a month, whatever's put in, that's theirs,
100%.
100% of it. But on the vested, I understand vesting is if they're here 1 year, they get 20% of that $1,000 we're talking about, that would be theirs.
That's correct.
So they have to be here for 5 to be invested, I'm invested in a couple of myself. Well, anyway, as I understood it in some of that research, the staff was pleased with this move to Securities America. That's what we're talking about, right? The Securities America. And now I'm hearing that their representative from the collective bargaining unit, which it is, right? Is that sure? Now, is that person from the union's headquarters, or are they part of the staff here?
She's represented or employee of the union.
Okay, yeah.
But you've made a good point. She's speaking on behalf of not every employee. I think there's employees, in fact, then you do some kind of vote
Yes.
employees. And so I think there's a lot of employees that are happy with the change.
Okay, this vote that you took with the employees, that's documented, right?
It was a survey. We took a survey of all the employees.
Okay, well, that's like a vote. It was done, did they sign on the thing, or?
Now, they could have, or they
Yeah, but
could
it was
not.
anonymous.
It was anonymous.
But you have that down, so, and more than 50% agreed that we need to go with it.
So this is what I did, was we did 6 different retirement plan providers. We had them all present to the employees. We took the top 3 to present to the board. The top 3 then was chosen, the number one was chosen by the board based on all the facts that were given to the board, which was price, returns, fiduciary liability,
Fiduciary.
and the service, I think service, local
What are
service.
we doing with the fiduciary liability?
Fiduciary liability,
If we vote yea on this, what happens?
We've actually already voted yea on this. This is just the vehicle to facilitate the
Yeah, I
transfer.
understand.
so your fiduciary liability is actually with sure those funds are the best performing funds for those individuals. Okay?
And they,
What-
like, in fact, I think you told me this, they have, Security of America has $1,700 options
That's
or
right.
something like that.
That's correct. So they give you the full gamut, but they also offer other options available to you, meaning that you can take it to a brokerage house, a big brokerage house, and say, invest it for me. I don't even want to think about it anymore. They're going to make all the moves for
And
you.
if they use boots properly, he would do that.
Correct.
Or he would give them
Yes,
the best advice that he could, he gives good advice for it.
that's right.
And he has met with every employee.
He's
at
knows
this
every
point.
employee. The other thing too is education, and having Rick locally, we will have education for all the employees, and we will make sure that the FTJ Fund Choice for Securities America has a calendar that we are advising our employees the best way possible.
As always, I've given some very good advice, as Rick brought up, and but we didn't talk anything about the 30-day blackout. Let me ask, so I forget this, on this 30-day blackout, it moved from one firm to another.
That's correct.
There's 30 days that money may not be making a dime.
That's correct.
Okay. May only take 4 days or whatever. If the employee's aware of that for that 30-day period, 1/12 of a year, they may not be earning a dime.
That's correct.
Okay. And most of them are aware of that, or hopefully all.
They're also not losing a dime.
They're not losing a dime either, there you go, you know.
Everyone-
So if we all know in the stock market, for everybody that makes a dime, somebody loses a dime.
That's right.
And they were all made aware of that when we made the choice also, I believe.
And but we also documented it by sending this.
I was in on some of those observing the flock here.
That letter was included with the pay
That is a
stub,
big-
every
Correct.
employee's pay stub.
But getting back to this survey, Kevin, you've got it documented, the 6 of them that you did or whoever you did, that over 50% of the employees wanted to go with the change.
It wasn't so much of that, it was a documentation of how each one did, and they rated them 1 to 5.
Okay.
So the highest rated ones were the ones that I brought back to the board. The board then made the choice based on price, returns, service, and fiduciary liability.
I'm sure that I kept all the stuff when I first didn't bring it up here, but I remember discussing that when I was out there. You were discussing it.
And
In fact, there was a couple of the employees here, more than that,
Most
and they related to it in a positive manner.
Most definitely.
And by the way, I encourage Sheila to have the disgruntled or concerned employees come tonight. I don't know if we have any, I don't know if this gentleman's employed or not. So she did, that's one item in her email. She wanted to say that, basically explain away why nobody would be here.
Okay, well, I remember that there was a half a dozen employees, and a couple of them spoke against it, a couple of them spoke for it. I remember what you said.
And this decision was made in January. This has been a long process, a long, tedious process for us.
2.5 years.
Administrative, longer than that, but this changeover has been a long, tedious process, and I just don't think that at this time delaying this will solve anything.
I have a question for you regarding the 30-day blackout.
Yeah.
Okay. What if you don't do it in 30 days? What if the transfer is made? What happens?
If it's made in 31 days.
Yeah, it's 35. What happens?
To be honest, I don't know what the result of that would be, other than we might have to start the process over.
That's a good point.
But there is no, and I printed off the Federal Register, and it gives you all the detailed documentation about this. It's there's a lot of exclusions and different things like that offer availabilities for mistakes and this and that, and you have to kind of document them. But there actually is no limitation on your blackout period. It just says you have to state what your blackout period is. So we got advice from the investment advisor to say, okay, how much time do you think you're going to need, and then let's give ourselves some cushion. And so I think the 30-day window is plenty of time for this to get done.
I think
If there's no
explain to it.
penalty or a problem, why don't we just tell the employees it's going to be 10 days to make them feel better?
Because I don't want to handcuff ourselves, because I don't know what that 31-day options
The
are.
blackout is going to be the blackout, whether you approve it
I know.
tonight or a year from now.
Right.
If you make a change, you're going to have a blackout.
30 days to secure the record.
That's correct. If you do change the blackout date, then you have to start the process.
It was
We have
explained to
to
the
send this
employees.
out. And we have to send this out 30 days before the blackout
Well, then
date.
we should give it the plenty of cushion, like you said, and be done in fewer days, and then this will settle down, we just need to move on.
That's my advice.
The other point, for the record, you are still fiduciaries, you will always be fiduciaries of these plans. No matter what change you go to, you're always going to be fiduciaries.
That's why you guys are approving this document, and not myself.
Well, when do we come back?
Well, but we have to sign it, so we have some level
That's because you're
of
a
fiduciary
trustee.
also, right?
But you're giving us that ability to sign that document.
Well, what percentage dissenters do you think you have within the bargaining unit?
I think, this is a complete conjecture. I think it's very small.
That's very small.
Very small.
I
You
see.
got 30, 35, 39 people in the group.
I said 3.
About 3?
That's a
Okay.
What do you think?
I move,
I think that we've gone way over, above and beyond to handhold the employees through this process. It's time to move on.
I move we adopt resolution 2013-07 and authorize the general manager and finance and the county manager to execute the money purchase plan adoption agreement together with supporting documents.
I second and call the question.
Well,
You didn't ask me,
is there anybody from the public that had any comments on this?
Would
Roll
you
call vote,
please
please.
explain the 30-day blackout?
Roll call vote, please.
Director Fletcher,
Yes.
Director Hunt,
Yes.
Director Collins,
Yes.
Director Duncan,
Yes.
Director Toya.
Yes, passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin, for explaining that to us. Why don't we take a short 6-minute recess, we'll reconvene at 7:50.
That's a great idea.
You like that one?
I like that one.
Through my